Doing well. All right. Beauty standards. This is particularly harmful to the platform's users, especially young girls. As we allege in our complaint, TikTok knew this too. Records show that the company knew these filters caused harm to young people, but deliberately chose to keep them because they knew their removal would decrease a user's time on the platform. This case is not about regulating the content that is shown to TikTok users. It's about TikTok's own bad conduct. It's intentional design choices that trap young people's time and attention and hurt them in the process. Our goal is to hold the company accountable for its unlawful conduct and to stop the company from engaging in practices that exploit our young people for profit. This lawsuit, as you may know, follows a multi-state nationwide investigation co-led by my office. I am proud to work with my colleagues from many other states and across party lines in this crucial effort. I want to thank my incredible team for their important work on this lawsuit. This team includes assistant attorneys general, legal analysts, investigators, paralegals, and of course, our amazing support staff. Senior trial counsel, Christina Chan, assisted by senior trial counsels Doug Martlin and Peter Downing. From our newly renamed, and you guys may not be excited as we are, but from our newly renamed Privacy and Responsible Technology Division, the Chief's Division Leader, Jared Reinhammer, Assistant Attorneys General Caitlin Karpinko, Aaron Davis, Cami Ruck, Paralegal Grace Yu, and Technologist Aiken Coker. For my Children's Justice Unit, Director Liza Hirsch, and Assistant Attorney General Casey Thompson. Also legal analyst Nick Willing, and our senior investigator Ed Cherubin, and many others across the office for their incredible effort with respect to this complaint and so many others. I am grateful to each and every one of you. I'm also grateful to my predecessor, Governor Maura Healey, who launched this investigation as AG. As you may recall, last fall, my office also filed a similar lawsuit against Meta. We'll continue to, of course, fight for our young people on all fronts. And also to any parent that is watching, we encourage them to talk to their kids about their social media use, to engage with them, to create a space to have conversations about the positive and the negative consequences of using social media. As our US Surgeon General has recognized, it is not a fair fight. Companies are employing the most gifted of engineers and deploying the most sophisticated technology just for the purpose of addicting our young people. So please know that your Attorney General, along with this office, will always prioritize the well-being of our kids and will do everything to hold these companies accountable. There is no doubt that increased use of social media is tied with the young mental health crisis that we are seeing in Massachusetts in this country. Thank you all for being here. I'm happy to take your questions at this time. Thank you.
So just to be clear, this is not, you're not seeking a ban, you're seeking them to change their practices, algorithms. Can you be a little more specific on really what the final intent is? And you did mention Meta, but there are many other social media platforms out there that seek to do the same. Are you reviewing all of them, not just Meta and TikTok?
Obviously, we filed the Meta complaint and investigation is on the Meta complaint, and that is ongoing. I can't say any more right now on that. Obviously, with TikTok, we're seeking not only for an acknowledgement of the harm they're causing, but also injunctive relief. And that may include, of course, changing the features, the design features, and the various things I just mentioned. And it's more about, similar with Meta, about them using their power, because only they have the power to change their app, but reviewing what we've seen in terms of young people harm and actually changing the features in such a way that they are no longer harmful to our young people. In terms of other companies, I can't at this moment talk about anything that's ongoing with respect to them.
Madam AG, much of your lawsuit is redacted. It looks like it's private company information. Can you talk a little bit about why that is? And one line references that Massachusetts was specifically targeted for its teen users. Can you give us any indication of why?
So similar when we filed the Meta complaint, various agreements with the company, this is of course with TikTok as well, we were able to proceed and file a complaint, but we had to of course keep certain provisions redacted. If that changes at some point, and that's of course after conversations with the court, we will make sure to make it public in an unredacted form. So right now, Molly, correct me if I'm wrong, The complaint that you're seeing online, and I think it's already posted, is redacted, but the hopes are with the back and forth with the court that maybe pieces of those, parts of that information become unredacted, and you'll know as soon as we're able to do that.
Again, one line says that Massachusetts teens were specifically targeted. Can you give us any more information about that? And what was
Yes.
if you've seen this confidential information, what was your reaction when you've seen what we can't yet see?
So two things. One is, I want to say it's not just true in Massachusetts. We think, of course, they targeted our young people here. But this multi-state investigation that includes both Republican and Democratic AGs across the country is really speaking to this company, TikTok, targeting young people and young users to be able to promote a product to this platform that would not only have a harm on them, but most importantly, would further the profit for the company. So in order to do that, you have to, of course, increase the number of young people on your platform. And the ways in which they design the features, design the app, design the platform do just that. So when we say 150% of our teen population is using TikTok, that's not by accident. They didn't go after elders, for example, and study their brains. They went after young people, targeting the young people here and all across this country. Hence the multi-state effort. We understand not only is it important to focus on the well-being of our young people here in Massachusetts, but the mental health epidemic that we are looking to address doesn't just exist in Massachusetts, it exists across state lines, hence the multi-state effort.
As you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to your last point, obviously, at some point, and I can't speak to specifics, but at some point, if we're able to unredact parts of the complaint, we will make that available to you all. But taking a step back, the reason we're focused on taking on social media platforms, Meta and Instagram and TikTok, is because we are prioritizing the well-being of our kids, not just making sure they have access to the wages they are entitled to, given our wage theft work and the enforcement of child labor laws, but also looking at their mental health and emotional well-being. And the uptick in depression and anxiety that we're seeing with our young people requires us to step up and to really go after those who would target them. And in this case, these social media platforms are targeting our young people for profit while not changing the designs that is causing them significant harm.
And I was just going to say, Attorney General Campbell, as you know, people like TikTok. There's a reason that it's popular, right? Because people like it. Parents like it, the kids like it. So would you agree with a ban? Do you think it's so dangerous that we should go to a ban, or are you hoping you can really affect change?
We haven't gone there. I think what we recognize, including with our ongoing interaction with young people, we have a youth advisory council. We just got off the ground to inform the work we're doing with respect to our young people, that there are benefits to social media platforms. And that's spelled out in different ways, including for those in our LGBTQ plus community. It creates a space and a place for young people to interact. What we're focused on is the harm that these platforms cause and the deception by these companies not to cure that harm, not to change their design features in the platforms themselves to bring about better outcomes for our young people. And we are best positioned to hold them accountable because parents and young people don't have the resources or an incredible legal team and staff like we do to hold companies accountable. But most importantly, some of the rhetoric we're getting from the companies is this idea that parents and young people sort of putting the onus on them to change their behaviors when in fact the onus should be on the companies to change the designs that are making them addicted in the first place. So we have a responsibility for to help our young people, but most importantly to hold them accountable.
So are you letting parents off the hook at all? They could just tell the kids, hey, you can't download TikTok.
So we're encouraging we're encouraging parents to have conversations with their children about social media use. But we also recognize that not every young person is tech savvy, or not every parent or adult is tech savvy, and the onus shouldn't be on them to be able to cure the harms that we're seeing. They cannot go into the app onto a phone to redesign it so, for example, the infinite scroll goes away. They can't go into the app to make sure that 60-minute limit, for example, is actually an effective tool that keeps young people from continually using the app for more than 60 minutes per day. If the company can go to China and for the young users there, implement effective provisions and features that allow their young people to engage in the platform while minimizing the harm they're seeing, why not here? The onus shouldn't be on the parents, the onus should be on the company. We're stressing that Because at the end of the day, they're the only ones, including the engineers and those at the company, that have the power and the tools to change the platform itself to make it more beneficial and less harmful to our young people.
You are using powers that are currently in place to take this action. Are the powers sufficient, or is there a need for Congress and the state legislation to strengthen laws, add laws to adequately address the situations and the problems you see?
It's a great question. One of the things the office is really focused on is looking at all the tools that are available to us. Our litigation and enforcement tools are effective and impactful. We know that, especially in the consumer protection context. But we're also looking at our legislative tools. What legislation could we possibly file at the State House to help us in these efforts? And we're exploring that. Grant-making tools. What resources can we put out into the community via grants to community-based organizations that can help our young people with some of these issues? And then the platform itself. How do we engage parents or our community engagement efforts in trainings and other types of ways in which to engage parents and young people around this issue? Every tool we will deploy today is just highlighting the litigation tool and the complaint, of course, against TikTok, which we also see as an effective tool in this context to hold a company accountable and hopefully push them to change their design and features of a platform that we know is causing harm to our young people.
It seems with their popularity and the money that they have, they almost have the political structure of the country co-opted.
I don't know about that, but what I do know is that this is a moment in time where folks in Massachusetts, but all across this country, should really ask who their AG is. Who is in these offices matters. My team and I are focused on young people, not just because we love the work that we do every day. Many of us are parents to young children or involved with organizations that help children, or just because we're public servants, we want to make sure our children are not harmed now or in the future. And we see it as our obligation to use the tools that we have, which are very effective, to hold companies accountable that would profit off of the demise in many ways of our young people. And so this is one example of that. The portfolio of work with respect to our young people is quite expansive, but if not us, then who? And so we are exclusively focused on how we use all of those tools to help our young people. And at the same time, their parents, their guardians, their caregivers, their teachers, their school leaders, and everybody else.
Enrique Delgado Garcia, is there an update to the Enrique Delgado Garcia investigation?
We can follow up with you.
We can follow up.
We'll follow up with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see it.